What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Welcome to tonight's show. Guys, you want to say what up?
Hola.
All right, we are in the building. It's Monday, August 14th, and we are back for another great show here tonight. And definitely want to remind you guys to make sure you check out our website, gftradioshow.com. Have tons of, or have links and tons of show replays over there, as well as links to our merchandising. Tonight I'm wearing my This, That, and the Other, or This, That, and the Third. I always forget what it says. My This, That, and the Third shirt. This is.
About to say Willie can't read.
I know, right? No, it's like it's bundled up. I just came back from working out. But yeah, make sure you get at us over at gftradio.creator-spring.com to get the merchandise. Like I said earlier, check out our website for links to our socials, links to our video pages, as well as to our group page, facebook.com/group/GFT Join the Conversation. Great topics going on over there. Some really great topics going on over there. We definitely got to do another Join the Conversation show maybe next week. Talk about some of those topics. I actually went back through and read a few, answered a couple. There was a couple I was like, I'm not answering that. But and then there was a couple that were like specific to certain genders. So there was a one that was, or I think it might have been two that were specific to women. So it was definitely some interesting reads. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward to doing another Join the Conversation show, so you guys can hear all about it. But make sure you go over to the site and join us over at Facebook if you're on Facebook. Even if you're not, join it anyway. And you know, you don't have to post nothing on your Facebook page. You can still join us. Don't forget, like, follow, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll be alerted to when we have shows on, because we're here mostly throughout the week having different shows, different topics, different niches. So make sure you get at us so you can check us out. Feel free to comment. We want to hear from you because, you know, this is a very interactive show. Always have great topics for you guys. And tonight is no different. So tonight we're going to be talking about AI, automation, how it's affecting our lives, our health, our economics, and, you know, what it really means for the future. So, you know, we're going to talk about that tonight. Have some discussions about, you know, where AI is headed, where automation is headed. A lot of people are still kind of in the dark about this topic. They definitely feel like it's something that is it's just a foreign thing to them. And, you know, we want to clear up a little bit of that tonight and, you know, kind of talk about our feelings on what it really means for, you know, the rise of the machines. So, first things first, you know what? Let's get this out the way. What do you guys know about AI and automation and what that really means? Sonny, you want to start us off?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. What I know about AI is a lot of things. It's different. We implemented small AI within my job. Small things don't really take over certain things, but it does. The state is very slow about AI, but when COVID happened, we we had some form of a small form of AI as far as like the medical, being able to test them and everything, you know, do the process of whether or not you have the symptoms before entering the building and all that type of stuff. And then different programs we run is like the data gathering and being able to simplify some of the stuff that we do. That some of the stuff the state has decided to do was very good. But like, you know, with the drones, we know about the drones being delivering packages, well, or potentially doing that for Amazon. The different things that we know that technology is evolving, ever evolving, and there is they developed a sex toy AI thing. So it's so many things that little intricate things that have been inserted with AI, and now it's just going to be more out there, more accessible, more usable for thing. They do it with the we see it now when we go on social media. You could be talking about something, AI is listening to you, and they're tracking what you like and promoting more of that. I go on Instagram and Facebook all the time, and I've been buying dresses because I keep seeing them, and it's like I should get that, and then I end up buying it. And then when you go buy it from the certain sites, it lists up like your shopping habits. So it's picking up things that you like that may suggest stuff to you. So I think AI is present whether we want it to be as present as we want to our lives, or but at some point in everybody's life in some way, shape, or form. So
right, no doubt. Dane?
AI has been affecting our life since the pandemic. Well, before the pandemic, but it sped up during the pandemic because we've had video conferences, but nothing like this. We got Zoom, we got other apps, so we can do face-to-face, FaceTime. We got so much that we gain from AI, but also the downfall of AI taking over certain aspects of, like, when the pandemic happened, we couldn't go out to certain places and shop. So what do? Online shopping. It blew up even more so where things are cheaper, quicker, because thanks to Amazon, online deliveries. Um, we see packages get here the very next day or sometimes the same day, depending how early you log on to buy it. The downfall of that is losing shopping centers and shopping. People are losing jobs um, through that aspect. So it's a give and take. You gain and you also lose a part of yourself as well as you gain through the AI.
Yeah. So AI itself, being what they call artificial intelligence, kind of what Dane was speaking about with the online shopping, through the use of algorithms, through the use of and then when he was talking about the getting your packages delivered, that's using AI in logistics, as well as automation in logistics. So those things definitely are heavily basically improving how systems and processes work. So definitely thinking about what do people normally do that can be improved, things that are repetitive, things that require lots of data input, data and analysis, things that require maybe even just require a lot of people to do one particular task, is all being either disrupted by AI, or they're looking into ways to change how those things are done and make them more efficient through AI and automation. And just like you were talking about, Dame, it's definitely a give and take kind of scenario. I definitely think that from a standpoint of the improvement, it definitely feels like as things improve, our standard way of life declines in terms of ability to get certain jobs, ability to have human interactions. One of the biggest things through automation that I noticed, or not noticed, but that I think that most people will notice, is like automation in food service. You go to most McDonald's now. I mean, I felt like, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, I felt like it was kind of just like a novelty thing. You go into one and there's like a little kiosk there, right? A lot of people don't think about kiosks as being automation, but when you start thinking about your self checkout, your kiosk at the restaurants, things like that, you start to realize all these are automated ways of doing normal human tasks that you no longer need human beings to do. I went to, about a year ago, I went to the airport here in Detroit on DTW, and I believe there was one person at the cash register, but there was like 4 automated kiosk machines. And that person at the register wasn't even really there to take orders. They basically were telling people to go to the kiosk and put their order in. And you got to think, in the past, we've had 2, 3, maybe 4 people at the registers at your regular McDonald's, and now you barely have one. So that's a loss of jobs, right? It's a loss of human interaction as well. But the benefits of AI, the reason that companies are doing it is because of the efficiency improvements. Well, what should be efficiency improvements, so long as your customers aren't getting frustrated and walking away. But efficiency improvements, improvements in customer satisfaction, because you no longer have human mistakes being made in order taking and things like that, as well as cost savings, right? That's the biggest one, right? Because once you start getting efficiencies, I mean, things are getting done faster. Also, you have less need for humans, no longer needing to pay people. You're going to save a bunch of money. So I think AI in terms of what it's going to do for companies or businesses is way greater than what it's going to do for us as human beings
Because
who
it get frustrating using AI. You be even self checkout be stressful when you're trying to check out, and then how you used to. I know I get frustrated when I'm bagging stuff, and then it be like ding, and then lights all go off, and the bells and whistles drawing all the attention to you. Like I ain't do nothing. This is not scanning, but it's like it's different. And then when you're trying to call certain places, the AI, it's like any little background noise. It's you stuck on that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of different things. I feel like AI is very good as far as data. It does make sense. Like I was reading one of the articles you had sent to us, and some of the stuff I see in job life and just everyday life, right? But the data collecting, the being able to customize certain things for people makes stuff easier, right? But sometimes it also makes it harder because you can't be too general. You got to be like sometimes stuff is real general, some stuff is not. And the thing of the progression of AI as far as business, especially in the private sector, I think it benefits more because of how they can customize it.
Right.
Whereas I mean, I guess you could customize it for state and stuff and county stuff, but the way things are regulated and how things are like during how things are done are sometimes problematic. It's like sometimes we have to over explain stuff. So like I remember during the pandemic, we had introduced a new way to do a certain thing with my job. And because of the pandemic, they didn't do the process the way it should have been done, where we usually get trained before it goes out. They just put it out because it was a rush situation, pandemic was happening, and it was like a reactory situation. But it made more problems for us because when they were implementing this new program, we didn't know as HR representatives to how to help people because we weren't trained.
Okay.
So you've now implemented this thing in a way where we were trained. It was like, watch this video. Yeah. And if you're not a watch this video person and you like hands-on like how I am, like I can watch the video, but I'm gonna have questions. But because I can't ask this AI, it's so many different scenarios we deal with this situation. It made sense to make it an AI thing where it's easy. It was easy, quote unquote, easier for people to use it, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, well, talk to your people, and then like, well, we don't know how to use it either.
Right. Yeah. And that's where AI fails us, right? Or automation even fails us, is that sometimes they'll make things automated, or they'll try to use AI predictive analytics. And all that means is that the computer's predicting what needs to be either said, done, or processed. And we have people who are just unsure what they need to say, unsure what they need to ask for. They may have questions.
That part, because we got to pull it out of you to make us understand what you really want. Because you can ask me a question that's so broad, it's not really answering your question. So when I answer, it's like, well, no, you didn't answer my question. And then I got to like basically pull the answer out of you. AI is not about to do that. They're real general with this. Okay, so you want this, do this. And then you like there and they can't help you and then they transfer you, and which frustrates people more.
Exactly.
Because then you're on the phone yelling, representative. We've all been there. We've all been there. Like, I don't even want to deal with this anymore.
And then the representative say, did you use the online? Like, because there's a couple of times I've called different services to ask a specific question, and the automated prompter says, you better use our online service at xyz.com. I'm like, I need a specific answer answered, and your prompter don't have any of those answers or prompted for me for you to give me that answer. I need to talk to somebody live. Right. Then the person live gets a hard, go to XYZ. Well, you can go through our online process. Like, no, it doesn't. It's not there.
Yeah, but I will say AI is definitely good for data collection, analyzing things. It's so many positive benefits to AI. It's frustrating as it is. It's so many, especially for data collection. Like I said, one of our systems collects data for us, so it's easier. We just chop in what we want. We have to be very specific in what we're asking so they can pull the information, and we get like so we get something back like with 300. Like we're looking for a specific type of employee, like to kind of mirror this, whatever the situation is. So we'll get like and it's for my job, it's anywhere between 5,000 employees. You'll get like 349. Like, okay. So I didn't narrow it down enough. So like you kind of add some more information, but that's the plus side of our AI. We get to add more information, and the way they collect the data for us, it's easy. It makes it easier for us to be able to say when we have this meeting, well, we got such and such amount of employees we brought on in the last couple of years. Such and such many positions are for this thing. This many people were out on a leave during this span of time. Like if we're talking about 6 years span of time, the different types of leaves. Like when we have like the data reporting, it's excellent because that will be horrible manual work. I hate it sometimes. And even when we do calculations with certain things, it's easier for us to use the AI and that same database. Like the way we use it is so much information collecting for us that it's frustrating to put together the template that we want or like the results we want, but we're learning as we go and we got trained in it. But like sometimes you just need more specific. So we have to manipulate it the way that we need it to give us the results we need. And then if we have to do extra legwork, it's less. But spending 10 days on something that the AI we got can do it in under 2, possibly 1 day, depending on how broad we're going or how specific we're going. So it is, I believe, like that data collecting and the analyzing the information that we're looking for to be able to do our reporting to the state and the governance offices and be able to say this is what it is. It's good for us. But like I said, it is frustrating, but I think it benefits the workplace, especially with medical. I was reading an article you sent about the medical thing, and I love it because I'm in this just recently this year when I went to a doctor. If they're affiliated with a certain hospital, so most of my doctors are affiliated with this one hospital in my city, whereas my one doctor is affiliated with another hospital. But I can log into both systems, put my information in, and I don't have to go to the doctors and be like, what medicines you're on? It's already in all your databases. You just pull up my name, my date of birth, and look up and then search me by name. And then it'll give you all my information. The last time I was there, what I was there for, all the medicines, is my insurance still active because it'll verify. So I like that because now I'm not in the office spending hours filling out paperwork.
That's one of my things. I
so
hate.
That's like I said, those are a relief.
Yeah, going back to what you were saying about the way it helps you in your job. I mean, I think that's one of the bigger things for me too, is that, even though there's not a ton of AI in what I do just yet, even though I'm in technology, but I'm in operations and engineering. So there's a lot more. They want us to be doing that thinking, want us to be doing that kind of work. But when I do need to analyze data, like you said, big data sets and things of larger or more tedious processes, it's always like, I can save so much time being able to run this through predictive engines, being able to do reports on automated reporting systems, things like that. And like one of the things that I've been working on lately in the last year, maybe 2 years, is doing a lot more automation programming. So I developed these applications that we use in order to have people go in, instead of sending us a ticket and asking us to do, 2, 3, 4 different things. They can go into this application that I built and they put in the information that they need, tell it what they want, and then it takes care of all that information either on the back end itself, or it sends me the information more condensed where I can just do one-liners instead of me trying to figure out, okay, what does this person want? How do they want it done? What do I got to put in? The program does all that for me. So like you said, it saves me a lot of time, saves me some effort. It saves the customer time. It saves them the frustration of having to figure out, where do they need to go to request this stuff. Makes their lives a little bit easier in that regard, as well as I can turn around information or turn around tasks even faster, so customer satisfaction is greatly improved. I mean, this last couple of months, we were hitting 100% satisfaction with our customers, as well as finishing our tasks 100% on time, where in the past we were doing on average 93 to 95%. So it's greatly improves that and makes our job lives a lot easier. Unfortunately, it does mean that there may be some people that may not be needed anymore, because instead of it taking 4 or 5 people to do this one job, now only takes 3 or 4 people, right? So
but I like that too, because with my job, we have our in-house IT department, but we also have the main state IT department. So even though they are the developers of most of the apps and be able to assist when there's a glitch in the app, they want to be able to explain, like, if there's an error. So if I get an error code on something that I'm trying to do, or it's not doing something that's a flaw, they rectify the flaw, and the flaw could be statewide, and nobody knows until I point it out. And when they run the in the testing environment, they see it, and they're able to say, all right, these are the issues we need to fix. So even though the AI does take away some of the jobs, it sometimes AI is flawed, and to have people to be able to go in and see it, fix the error or fix the coding properly to make it do whatever it needs to do, it makes our job easier. Because then, like I said, with so much stuff, and then even with the retail, we can go to a sneaker. Like, I remember we were going to a function, and it was a sneaker ball, so everybody wears sneakers, trying to get certain type of sneakers to go with their outfits, and you were able to go to the store and see, if it wasn't at that store, what store was that. Like, that's right. Stuff that benefits people, because then you're not going around, because back in the day you would have to go around and really, if you were really determined to wear that type of sneaker, you had to know where to go. And like, now it's in stock. Am I waiting in vain? Or if they say they got such amount in stock, you're good. Especially with people that gamers, you want to get these games, you want to know what store has it, how many stock they have, because people buy those and then resell those and make money off them. Same with sneakers and stuff.
Sonny. Everything's digital.
Even ordering online, we need to know if it's in stock.
No, digital. Like, you don't have to buy the actual physical disc anymore.
Yeah.
Everything's just download right to your system now.
Yeah, but the people it's some people that still like the
collectors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they want to know if I'm going there, do they got it?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that this is the positive effect, right, on our lives, and the fact that a lot of people don't even realize that there's automation involved in that. A lot of people don't sometimes think about that store stock levels is an automation thing. That stuff, even though some of it is input by people, but a lot of it is controlled by the automation processes. When you buy something, it removes stock from that store's count. Somebody else may go to a different store, it shows up on that count, that kind of thing. And then, like you said, when I went out of town, I had to go to I think it was Macy's to pick up some shoes, and I saw these shoes, really liked them. I was like, okay, y'all got my size in stock, and they're like, no, but they were able to go right on the computer, pull up, oh yeah, they got it in stock over at the store 20 miles away. I'm like, okay, bet it up. Or they could tell me if I could order online, and they were able to do that online. So that automation, a lot of people that don't think about that's part of automation. A lot of that is what helps us in our daily lives, makes our lives a little easier. And like, going back to healthcare, that was one thing I wanted to mention wanted to talk about, was like you were saying, just something as simple as filling out those walk-in forms and stuff, being able to no longer have to do that in certain offices, because they use automation in order to transfer that information from one doctor's office to another, being able to go to a specialist and they already have your records on file. Even something as simple as going to the pharmacy, and they already have your prescription ready and filled, because the doctors sent it through automation over to their
That's
office.
Big one too. Not having to go get the script. Do you know how easy it is to go to a hospital or a doctor and have to go to get this paper script and go sit there and wait, and they could just send it to you and call you and say, hey, it's ready. Do you want to pick it up, or do you want delivery?
Exactly.
And then as a non-driver, aka professional passenger, it's even benefit to me, because I could be like automatic refills and then deliver it to my house.
Exactly.
And my card is already on there, so I can just get my medicine, so I don't have to worry about, do I got to ride? Do they do they do all these things? And it's so much. And like with the AI, we got apps like Grubhub, we got apps like Uber, we got all these different things that we can do. Get like we used to have to call cabs. Now you only got to do them. You could just order it and it knows directly where you are. And even if you don't know the address to come get you, and you can kind of, you know, sometimes that's flawed because the way they be taking me home, sometimes it be just doesn't make no sense. They have to save them from themselves. But all that is a benefit to us. Like even though you can, like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with AI. It's good, but sometimes it's like, bitch. But it's more good than bad for me, at least.
Yeah.
In the medical field, as a safety precaution, you know, you got those people who are dependent on drugs. They need to get their fix. And sometimes those hospitals can cross-connect the medical information to see where you've been to get your fix. Like, you was just here at this place to get your fix, and now you're trying to go to an affiliation or same, like a different hospital, trying to get your fix. They can see that. They can see what drugs you've been given in the past X amount of months to see, you know, they always ask you anyway, when's the last time you've taken, what medications do you take to ease your pain? Like when I go in for my yearly headaches, you know, they like, what relieves your pain? And I tell them what it is. They try to give me something else. I'm telling them it's not going to work. They give it to me anyway. Then they see it doesn't work. Then they finally give it me what I need. It's like, if you can see from the records, I'm not here to be an overdose junkie. It only happens once a year or a couple of times a year. Then you don't see me again for how long? So, it is a safety precaution with that, even though it sucks for me sometimes, and probably Sunny, I'm not sure how bad hers get.
But yeah, I think that's the one thing I started to notice that recently has been talked about more too is in you know the progression of care, right? And the fact that, you know, let's say you are one of those people who have been going to a particular doctor or not particular doctor, you've been getting a particular prescription, and let's say, you know, you tell your doctor, hey, you know, this is only semi-helping or this helps only sometime, and he puts that information in. It's like, okay, well, he's been taking this certain medication for 3 years, and it shows that, you know, your pain levels are only, you know, helped part of the time, or you're getting partial relief where they want you to get some, you know, more fuller relief. And they can start now using AI and predictive analytics in order to determine what better medication to give you, what different doses to give you, you know, re-prescribing how often you should be taking certain medicines, if it should be more, if it should be less, things like that. And I think that's one of those other, you know, benefits of AI and automation. And because, I mean, your doctor can't know everything all the time about you because he may have 60 patients, right? You know, and even though he recognizes you, he might even know your name. But being able to remember every time that you told him that, you know, Advil gave you, took you from a 6 to a 3, and then Motrin took you from a 5 to a 8. You know what I mean? It's like, how's it going to remember all those details? And AI can help, you know, determine when those things are important, how those things can be changed and challenged, as well as being able to, like Sunny was saying, even fill those prescriptions
and
using,
share information.
Exactly, with the shared
especially
information.
With the doctors, because like it was funny. I went to get blood work done for my iron, and both doctors called me like, "What the hell? Wait a minute, it went lower." Like, but like both of them, the hematologist and my primary, was like, "Yo, we just got your results back, like one back to back," and I'm like, they're like, "Do you about to see you in the hospital? Like, what's going on with you?" So, right. And I'm like, it's funny because they do it, and then like they just took blood today, so like I'm probably going to get a call from both of them, but I'm like, the fact that they share information, you don't have to, because they're in the same. That's why I said, like, it saves so much, and everybody's abreast of what's going on, and you don't have to worry about, did somebody send you stuff, like, or you got to manually. It's very rare that I actually have to, and I like that, have to make sure I carry one information to one doctor. They all get it. Same with my migraines. Both my primary and my neurologist are on top of my migraines. So it'd be funny because this time both of them prescribed the same medicine. The pharmacy filled them both, and I'm like, wait, like it's the same medicine for two different doctors. I don't know why y'all did that, but it kind of, that's like the glitch in it, because if y'all had communicated properly, you would have known that I just got one filled. But I mean, it's progressive.
But actually, even the pharmacies now share that information, and they can look at it. Because I had a pharmacist once look and see, like, okay, you got this certain pain medicine from your primary, but then your dentist just prescribed the same thing. This is an overlapping prescription, and they'll only fill the one. So it's definitely something that can be helpful, even with catching those kind of mistakes,
and catching the mix of medicines, because then you have making sure that if one medicine don't mix with the other, somebody's calling you and be like, you can't take that.
Exactly.
Like birth control and what is it? You can't mix birth control and antibiotics because it cancels the birth control out. Yeah. Then 9 months later.
Definitely. Yeah, you definitely want to make sure that's being caught before something goes awry, for sure. But yeah, the mixing of certain medicines that may affect heart medicines. But yeah, birth control, that's a good point. People better double check on that one. But also, I was looking at the fact that when you have certain health issues, and how those those medicines may cause other health issues, and so being able for your one doctor to see that maybe as your primary may see that your heart specialist is prescribing one thing, and then you may have somebody else doing something for some other body part that's going awry, and then they can determine, like, okay, well, the reason you're having this other issue is because of these two medications, and this is the result of this mixing of those two things causing maybe stomach aches or dry mouth or whatever the case may be. So that's another big one too, is being able to see those kind of mixing and symptoms and side effects and how that affects your body. I'm pretty sure that there's definitely somebody out there working on some kind of AI to kind of make better decisions on what medications to prescribe in order to reduce those kind of mixing and these kinds of cross symptoms that may be caused by mixing of these medications.
And what about the AI for banking? I love, so the way my bank account is set up, and it's been set up like this for years, I didn't catch it. So my bank emailed me. They sent me a notification in the banking app, and it was like, you got a notification in the banking app. It let me know that a certain merchant charged my bank account twice. Mm-hmm. I didn't catch it, but they caught it. Even the time that I dropped my card, they called me after the second purchase. Somebody had dropped my card near a general area. They went to McDonald's, spent about $40, and then went to the gas station. I don't go to the gas. I don't even have a car. So it not only the gas station, they went to the gas station twice. They went to McDonald's and went to the drive-through twice, and it was a total of $40 for each purchase. And it flags it. AI flagged it because it makes when you go. What I found out was when you go through the drive-through twice, you're not physically handing you're not. It's a little different how they do it. So it flags it, and it sends a note to your bank that your card got swiped twice at the same location, back to back. And that's what flagged it to let it know it was stolen. Then the third purchase was at the liquor store, $80. It was like $100-something, $80 to $100 worth of liquor. And then they went to a gas station. By the time they went to the gas station, they were able to swipe the card at the third location. But by then my bank called me. It was like, when the last time you made a purchase? Last time I made a purchase was the day before I bought pizza. And then when they told me all three transactions, and they told me what was the red flag, what raised the flag was the McDonald's going through the drive-through twice. Mm-hmm. And that was AI, like, boop. And then they had to get manager approval. So the manager casually walked over there, pressed in the buttons. But it was funny because I was confused because my card is a custom card that had my picture on it. So whoever handed it to you, like, so the bank
literally don't care. They literally don't
and
care.
Everywhere they went, they handed my card to somebody. Mm-hmm. But McDonald's flagged it, and then they record when the drive-through, and sometimes you don't realize they do that. They have like a recorder in the drive-through. Bank did a full investigation. I got my money back, but they said what flagged it was going through. That was something I didn't know. And even this last time, they let me know. Like, I didn't get the call from a banker like I usually do. I got the thing. It was like check your notification of hard. It was like I forget what they called it, and it was like check the thing, a discrepancy or something like that, hard discrepancy. And I went in there.
Fraud detection is definitely a huge feature.
It was, I had fraud detection, and it was like boop bop, and it's frustrating. That's why I said I have love-hate relationship, because when I went to Miami, at one point I didn't tell my bank I was going. So, you know, I booked the flight. I sent the money to my friend, you know, we going, paid for everything. I sent everything to her because she put everything on her credit card. We was just paying her, and we paid her like straight out. And I get to Miami, I tried to swipe my card was like declined. I'm like, wait, no, I know I got money in it. My bank was like, well, you didn't tell us you was going out of town. You've been in Jersey this entire time. Why are you
in Miami? Exactly.
Like it was, they said they wouldn't have flagged it if I had bought a ticket to Miami, because then it was like, okay, she bought a ticket to Miami, she's gonna be in for these days. Right. Like not realizing that your bank is catching all this information, and you, I'm just down there in Miami swiping. They're like, nope. And like, luckily, the bank was right next to my hotel. I had to verify the way they had to verify me, but I said, but that's AI. It wasn't. Like you just don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely no person involved in checking that. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's the big thing too, is that, you know, like you said, it's that benefit, right? It can be a gift and a curse sometimes, because I definitely have been. I literally went to Vegas one year, and this was before they had the option in the app to be able to say, okay, I want to let you know I'm going to be traveling. And then even now, my newer apps, they now track your location. If you give them access to your location, in order to, you don't even have to tell them that you're going anywhere. They'll track it based on your phone's location. But that was the big thing. Like you said, 2-3 years ago, you'd had to let them know. Other than that, their systems will be able to detect that, okay, you're in this other city, and you normally are in a state away, 2 states away across the country, and they're flagging it, and they're declining these charges. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things that we can definitely benefit as consumers, where we no longer have to worry about, you know, if somebody's, I don't say not worry, but you know what I mean? It makes it a little easier for them to catch when these, you know, unusual things are happening, you know. So definitely, I mean, I personally don't mind sharing my location with the bank. It's a course they call it course sharing, so it's not like they know where I'm sitting at right this second, but they know I'm in general that I'm in the city that I'm in, and so they know that if I make a purchase here, they won't be flagging it, versus if somebody tries to use my card in Vegas now, it'll get flagged, it'll get declined, because they can see that from my phone I'm not in Vegas.
Yeah, try about 20 years ago, went to Toronto out of nowhere. Me and my friends went to WrestleMania in Toronto, Canada. Never been to Toronto before then. I'm like, all weekend, I'm like, card not working. Monday morning comes around. Hi, we see you tried to use your card. Were you in? Like, yes. Can I have my money back out? Because back now. Jeez. So I had to pay my friends back. No harm, no foul. They just stopped the card. But then there's another thing I do now is I go into the gas station and pay directly, because sometimes those pumps aren't safe.
Oh, the skimmers, yeah, they have the skimmers and stuff.
Yeah, because a couple of times I pay for gas one morning. We got some Coney Island restaurant in Detroit, and went to Blockbuster. Not Blockbuster. I'm sorry.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, this is a couple of years ago. Then I went to Best Buy, bought me a couple of DVDs and CDs. The very next day, I tried to fill up my car with gas. Decline. Like, what?
Hold on, wait a minute. We're not gonna skip past that. That was more than a few years ago.
I know, right? That's like 30 years ago.
Somebody tried to
last time Dane was able to fill up his tank twice in a row.
Somebody tried to go to do the same thing I did. They tried to go to Best Buy, buy a giant screen TV. They went to Redbox to buy some movies. Mm-hmm. That's what pissed me off. They went to Redbox? Come on, I'm better than that.
Damn,
mine was they went to a liquor store and spent almost $100 worth of liquor. I ain't never did that in my 40 years of life. I've never spent $100 on liquor. I'm cute. I walk in the liquor store, buy my little wine bottle, my little alcohol.
I must not be cute because I just spent $212 at the liquor store.
No, but like, I can see that if I was having a function, like a party, that would make sense for me to spend that amount of money. But even then, I've always, like, if I'm having a party, I usually is BYOB. I'll bring little stuff. I'll have stuff there, but I'm not I've never spent $100 in nobody's liquor store. So my bank was like, and then on top of that, you got me buying $8 worth of gas. So you done rolled up and filled a couple people's tanks up on me. And like, I don't even have a car. I have nothing to put gas in.
Right.
Y'all out here, they was out here, and then they did that shit. I dropped that shit on the payday, and they was out there like I said. Back then I was still paying rent at the old place. I was paying rent like rent was due. They took all my money. They went shopping. I'm like, I had to call my landlord. Like, I'm waiting for the bank to put it back. They doing an investigation. They put it back a couple days later, but it was just like it was too much happening in 1 week.
Yeah. It's huge. I mean, I think sometimes people get a little frustrated with it because they feel like, oh, I'm doing this, that, and the other. I don't have time to be telling my bank I'm going traveling, or I don't have, I'm trying to do some special project, and but it's like that's for your protection. There's so many of us that have lost money, that have lost time, that have lost, patience with, people taking your money from your bank account, either via a lost credit card or bank hacking or whatever the case may be. And I think it's great that we do have something that can kind of stand in the middle and stand in that gap and try to provide us a little bit of protection, especially in situations that are easily preventable. I definitely will have been a victim of a lost credit card being stolen, or a lost debit card, unfortunately, where I had went to I'm really about to show how long ago this was. I went to a Sam Goody to go get some CDs, and I used to go.
We had the what's it called? The CD store we used to go to. It had one in Trenton, Sound of Trenton. Everybody went there and bought all their music. If you didn't go to Walmart, you was at Sound of Trenton in downtown Trenton buying all the good. You get deals, he give you deals and everything.
Right.
You get some headphones, a Discman, and everything.
So I used to go to Sam Goody like every week to buy new music. If I didn't buy at least 2 or 3 CDs, I was there to at least listen to what's new, what's popping. And so I had somehow bought some stuff and left my debit card there, and somebody took it upon themselves to use it for me. And at the time, you're talking, this had to have been 30 years ago. And so there was no, there was no AI, there was no, banks calling you to look to check and see why your account's being used the way it's being used, all that kind of stuff. And I can't remember how much the person got, but it was definitely somewhere north of $200, maybe $300. And by the time I realized it, I think it was either the next day or 2 days later. And I, called the bank, checked the, balances and stuff. And then they put the stop on the card. I luckily, wasn't out more than, I think it was like $50 at the time for a debit card that you had to pay or that you had to lose, but it was definitely, still it was something that it definitely had me pissed off, because it's like, somebody's taking my money, my hard-earned money, putting me through a lot of frustration, a lot of mess, and then to be able to avoid that years later. Like I said, the time I went to Vegas and they stopped my car because they didn't know I was in Vegas, but they were using AI to kind of protect it, because who knows, and somebody could take your card anywhere, or they could steal your credit card number and they could be running up, and then a few years after that, I think it was actually something did happen where somebody somehow got information from another website and tried to charge, but they couldn't because I was luckily using automatically generated card number that was only for one use. So they tried to do it, it got declined. So there's a lot of different methods and protections and things that they do to try to at least provide us some type of fraud detection and some type of protection for our money. So I definitely think it's a great thing that we have these things in place. But even past that, we're talking about banking, things such as getting lines of credit, getting a mortgage for a new house, being able to take a loan out to do some home improvements. A lot of that's been improved by automation and being able to, no longer have to submit 1,100 documents. The last time I did a mortgage, it was still a little bit of documentation, but it wasn't as bad as the first time I got my first mortgage. But when I got my mortgage on my second house, it was like night and day in terms of how much paperwork I had to, fill out, sign. I remember actually having to hand fill out documentation, and this is at a time with my first mortgage, and this is at a time when they did have the ability to fill certain things out on the computer or be able to pull certain information, but I still had to hand fill out certain forms. And then fast forward to my second mortgage about 5-6 years ago, where most of the stuff they pulled that information right from him, things that I emailed them, documents that I uploaded, they were able to pull the information directly off of those documents. And then nowadays I heard you can even use text messaging and chat bots in order to apply for a mortgage. So, technology has, greatly improved the ability to, do financial transactions, do banking, get loans, things of that nature. Oh, shoot, financial transactions. I mean, this isn't AI or automation totally. I mean, some automation involved, but just being able to transfer money to your friends and relatives and even some businesses with, things like Cash App and Venmo. That's automation, right? We used to go to the bank and pick up the money and then drop the money off. I actually had to do that with one of my recent contractors. He didn't take any.
I don't know about that mortgage thing. I was signing my whole life away. I felt like I got more papers from buying my house, and I got papers in all my natural born life.
Yeah, but did you have to hand fill out all of those paperwork though?
When I signed and signed my house? Yeah. Oh yeah, I feel like I got the papers. I was signing my life away. I felt like I was signing the contract.
Not signing. I mean, literally hand writing your name, your address, your information. Oh, no. That's what I'm saying. 20 years ago, I had to do that. 25 years ago, when I got my first mortgage, I had to do that. And then I know 40 years ago, people had to do all that paperwork by hand. So
I was sending paper through email and having to mail some stuff. But yeah, I think I would have been had carpal tunnel if I was filling out all that paper, because when you close on your house, that's all them papers is sign here, initial here.
We'll never get away from completely. I mean, you like even now, I think that there's like when I did my car, it's now so automated that my last car, I did everything by text message, and then I had to go in and I had to sign. I want to say it was at least 5 or 6 times I had to do the signature thing. It was on a electronic pad thing, and then
it copied
that signature to multiple documents. So I really only had to do like 5 or 6 signatures versus like 20 signatures or something.
Yeah, crazy. I did that one.
I got a question. Does Western Union still exist?
Yes. Oh, it does. And if they're updated, we could add money on there. You could. I've learned that from people.
Yeah, I use the Western Union app to send money to my uncle all the time.
That part. The Western, I love that app. That's the most easiest way you can send money, and I feel secure doing that.
No, because it's been so long since I used it, because since we got Cash App,
Oh, right. Yeah, believe me, I'm trying to get my uncle off that Western Union mess. I actually just did a Western Union, not Western Union. I just did a bank transfer for him, because luckily our banks, one of my banks still uses the ability to be able to send money to another bank, where a lot of them have taken that ability away because of Zelle. But yeah, it's definitely still around, still being highly used, still expensive as all get out. But like you said, the automation behind being able to now send money instantaneously. I mean, I send money to my kids all the time. Being able to take care of their day-to-day expenses or issues that something might pop up, and I'd be like, oh, here, let me send you some money so you can get out of this bind. It's a godsend, because I know when I was actually not even when I was a kid, my older kids, when they were younger, being able to do that with them, not having to go track them down, take them cash money. That was
the only thing I think they need to upgrade is when you accidentally send money to the wrong person. Because I've done that on times where I was impaired, or not really impaired, like I didn't feel good one day. I didn't feel good one day, and I had to send money to somebody. I sent it to the wrong person, and when I sent it to them, they didn't have the money in the account, so it was like I can't get it back.
Terrible.
And I'm like, but like it was dumb. I knew I didn't feel good, because you know how Zelle works. Well, mine's you have to it asks you twice. Are you sure you want to send money to this person? And you pick the person you send the money to at the very beginning. And somehow I just said, I'm gonna send it to this person instead of the person I'm supposed to. They were sitting right there. I said, you ain't get it. No, I ain't get it. I'm like, I just sent you the money just now. They're like, no, you didn't. And I looked and I was like, damn it. And you can't get it back. Not unless that person knows and they send it back to you. But like, if they don't know, like I know somebody that gets a Zelle, a Cash App deposit from a person that they'll never know. And the person finally called on that they were sending the money to the wrong person, but you don't get that back. Especially if I send you a request and it's pending, I believe on Cash App and it's pending and you don't deny it, I'm getting that money. Mm-hmm. So it's some flaws in it. I don't know if they fixed it, but I know that was a way for a period of time. That's why I went and download the Cash App. But I don't really like. I make everything handprint. Well, not everything.
Nobody can send you a request and take your money, but definitely if you accept the request and allow it to go through, then it's gone. And I know a lot of people still complain about that now because it is still a challenge because you still have to work with the person that you sent the money to in order to get your money back. And like you said, Zelle does that too, which was the funny thing to me because I assumed that because Zelle works with the banks that it would work similar to ACH, where if you sent the money incorrectly, they could pull it back. But Zelle's like, no, we're not in the business of pulling money back. Once that money's gone, it's gone. So if the other person has the money and they want to send it back to you, they can, but they're not obligated to. Yeah, which is crazy.
I would like for somebody to mistakenly send me $10,000 or $100,000 by accident because I'm not sending that back.
Which I mean, and that's the messed up part about stuff like that, and I know a lot of people worry about that. And then, like you said, there's the concern about, is there ways for people to circumvent that, which there's ways for people to make it easier to trick you. Cause I had a buddy of mine, we were going on a trip together. And he was like, if you pay for my tickets to whatever it was, I was like, sure, I can pay for it, and then you just, send me the money, and then the Cash App, you put in a person's either their name or their phone number or something like that. And when I put in his phone number, no, not his phone number, I think it was his email address or something. There was somebody used his email address to set up their own Cash App. And they had his whole email address. It wasn't his name, but it was his whole email address as the name. And I was like, wow, like if somebody thought that was you for real, they would send this person money.
Yeah, I verified, like, what's your picture look like?
Yeah, it had his picture too.
Yeah, but like I need to know which one is yours. Like I'm a person like send me a Cash App, I type it in, it confirm this you.
Yeah, no, I tell people, hey, if I don't have their Cash App information and it's not tied to their phone number, tell them send me a request, because there's no way I'm about to mess that up, because like you said, I don't want to end up with having to try to figure out how to get this money back, which is almost impossible if the other person doesn't comply. And most of the time they're not going to comply. They don't know you, they could care less.
That part.
Yeah, because they could be the prince in a different country trying to request money that's being held. So
exactly. So another way that AI is affecting us is in our jobs, right? So, one of the bigger things, as we talked about earlier, was that, there's a lot of people who may not be able to get certain jobs. There's a lot of companies that are reducing their workforce in order to improve their, bottom lines by implementing AI, implementing automation, and then getting rid of certain jobs. But, how do you safeguard your career against AI, automation, and things of that nature? Are you doing anything in particular, Sonny, to try to safeguard your job or your skill set, improving your skill set in order to deal with?
If everybody been following me on social media, you already know I'm in classes learning all different things related to my job. I have quite a few classes I'm going to be taking over the next couple of weeks. Right now, I got a break. I believe I'll start back up classes in September, and I'm waiting on this one class that it's like a well-known class for HR people. It's for all HR people. It's called SHRM. I'm trying to learn the HR thing on a broader thing for me, so I have more opportunities, because I've been in HR my entire career. I know a lot about HR, different departments, different sections of HR. Like I said, I don't know that I'll say it on here, but I switched jobs in HR in 2 weeks. I'm learning a whole new job.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I think you
I'm
announced
already
it
signed up.
in the last Sexual Sunny show.
Yeah, I'm on the I have classes lined up for that job so I can learn the laws and the legalities of all that entails, and then learning the process of how we do it, implement the policies and procedures. And then I have like the basic HR classes that I'm going to be eventually signed up for. And so for me, it's learning, taking like, I know most of us don't like going to classes, but I think it benefits the classes I had. They were very beneficial for even though I do one of the jobs all the time because I do orientation, I do public speaking. So in a sense, I do that type of thing. And plus we were part of training supervisors. So it's good for me to be able to present to them the material and make sure they're actively engaged in understanding what's being shown to them. And then when new hire being effective and giving out information and make sure that people understand it. But yeah, for me, I'm definitely signing up for whatever classes I can that benefit me career wise, because at the end game, I want to be knowledgeable about all aspects of HR, even if I'm only 2 areas I haven't worked in HR. But for the most part, I've been in every other area of HR. This is just a new venture for me to learn this job and kind of hopefully excel at it. But yeah, I'm just trying to be knowledgeable.
Yeah, and that's the important thing is expanding your skill set, right? Being able to have additional skills, additional knowledge, additional expertise in order to be able to keep yourself not only fresh in your industry, but also allow you to have some job security in certain things in certain areas. I think that's the one thing that a lot of people either fail to do or fail to consider as they get longer into their career path, is that they think that once I hit this certain job level or this certain position that I'm good to go. I never have to worry again. And I've definitely witnessed managers, directors, even vice presidents of companies be demoted or off, or be laid off because their skill sets are no longer needed, or their skill sets are no longer relevant in their industry, and so they end up getting displaced, either by new skills that other people have, or by automation technology or things of that nature, and they no longer have a place in that workforce. So they now have to learn new skills or get into a whole different career.
Yeah, but I see it too within my field. You get people that are not necessarily in my particular area, but in just all full service. I know people that are in jobs that don't take the opportunities to learn more. They're complacent in where they're at. And the only classes they take are the classes that are required of them, not stepping outside of the comfort zone of taking different classes. I've taken business writing. Like I said, our IT, like my work husband, he was IT person, but he was an HR IT person, and he learned our main timekeeping system to where I signed up to be able to go with him to the meetings. So I was learning that. That's why I said I was learning the testing environments of finding errors and fixing code. I didn't necessarily fix the code, but I was a part of the test community that would go and test the different things and see if we can make an error happen. And then understanding, like them telling us how they were fixing it, the progression of it. So that's why I said I got the back end of it, of not just calling IT and say, hey, I have a problem. Also learning how to recreate so sometimes it's hard to recreate the same error code, but that's what we were doing. I was taught to learn how to create the problem, or if this happened, try this and see if this will give you this error code, so that way we could see it in testing environment. They would fix it in testing environment. We would go in and test it to see if the error was indeed fixed before they broadcast it out to the to like statewide, because it would be like an error code for all state. So like I wanted to go to see that and learn that, but like you have to want to grow yourself, and there's a lot of people that stay complacent and okay with this is just a paycheck, I don't really need nothing else. And then you become invaluable because all you know is this. You chose not to know this. Like I may not have the extreme entrepreneurial vibe, but at the same time, I'm willing to grow in what I'm doing.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that don't want to do that. And then when they find themselves, and it's funny because we were in this leadership class that I just took, and the one before that is public speaking. A lot of them were in there from our workforce, our workforce that most of them were doing re-entry to workforce. So when COVID happened and people lost their jobs because COVID happened and their jobs weren't able to work from home jobs, they were out there. So now they're coming back into the job field, having the willingness to learn new skills to be able to do the job that you were doing or similar. A lot of people weren't able to do that. And then you got the people that are having these master's degrees in this field that they've been doing for 20 plus years, starting from scratch. Right. And understanding that even if AI is affecting your job market, what could you do after that? Because there's some job out there for you. It's just the willingness to do it.
Yeah, let me share something real quick. So this is one of the links I just posted in the comments. You guys can go check this out. But this article talks about the U.S. industries with the highest potential for automation. So these are going to be estimated share of employment exposed to automation, which means that these jobs can either be affected by automation, enhanced by automation, or even displaced by automation, which means, basically you can get laid off. So, some of the ones that seemed obvious to me were the office and administrative support, legal, architecture and engineering is a big shocker for me, mainly because I know that architecture, although we've definitely seen computer aided drawings and computer aided architecture is something that's definitely used in that industry, but being able to automate some of those processes means that some of the jobs that are normally used for doing a lot of the manual work with those drawings, a lot of manual work is now being replaced by AI, predictive analytics, big data, things like that. So being able to take and do those calculations, do those measurements, redraw those designs, even create new designs, a lot of those things are being either worked on or even being exposed now to automation and AI in order for those jobs to be displaced. Life and physical social science, definitely this is where you're talking about a lot of the data analytics, where there's huge amounts of data that they collect, and they've normally been doing that stuff manually, taking them years, if not decades, to analyze. Now it's being done in minutes, by automated systems, automated processes, and AI predictive analytics. Business and financial operations, another no-brainer. In my neighborhood, or not neighborhood, in my county, I live in one of the larger counties in Southeast Michigan. I probably could count on my two hands how many actual physical banks there are and financial management institutions that there are on my two hands. I could probably count more, all of the ones that are physically used in this whole county, let alone in the state. So it's tons of jobs have been displaced by automation, by just purely having these apps that we use in our pocket, have displaced those types of jobs. I mean, when's the last time you talked to somebody and they said they were a bank teller? You know what I mean? You already didn't have a lot of them anyway, but now you're talking.
That's crazy because where I work in downtown, we had so many banks. And my bank, the branch near my job was smaller, but they closed down due to COVID. And then it was just the ATM because, ATM, you can deposit, you can do all this stuff. And now the ATM is not there. So now I have to go all the way across town or across the bridge.
Yeah, that happened
to go use a bank thing. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because I liked being able to go in and talk about, I liked going in. I used to go into the bank when I rented the house that I lived in previous to buying this one. I used to go in and transfer money to my, because it was a big deal to do it from my bank to their bank. So their bank was right next to my bank. So I used to go in, take the money out before we started using Zelle or whatever. And I used to go in and physically put my rent money into their account, and then my receipt was the slip that I put the money into their account.
Yep. And
And
that's
it's like,
the thing. Like you said, there's now apps for that. It was one thing when there was like, okay, yeah, you could probably set up some type of wire, you could set up some kind of bank transfer, and then now there's just an app for it, right? Where you don't
yeah,
even have
and
to
I
go
like
from
the
bank to bank.
interaction
You
with
literally
going
just
into the
go,
bankers.
send it right to the person, and you no longer have to even deal with a bank at all. But yeah, same thing happened to me where my bank that I signed up for my accounts had to go in to sign actual paperwork and stuff like that. The bank doesn't even exist anymore, the facility, like you said, because it went from being a full service bank and financial management institution down to just a couple of tellers, down to an ATM, and now the ATM isn't even there because
Yeah, they
now
had
we
the
don't even
vault
need,
and
we don't even,
everything in there.
I mean, we need ATMs, of course, but we don't need them as much.
But even that, like
because
you had the
it's-
banks that, like the banks, one of the banks that was downtown was a big bank. It was an old style bank. When you go in with the old banks, like the banks that get robbed, like when you watch the shows, like
Right.
them old banks that left like you like the layout and everything. You could go back into like the where you put your stuff in the safety deposit box.
Oh,
Like all that
right.
stuff is gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, now you have to go to regional banks and local and there may be a state or a tri-county area bank that may have that kind of facility, but a lot of those local banks, those smaller facilities that you would have in your neighborhood or at least in your city, all gone now. All replaced by automation, by AI, by apps, by all kinds
Yeah,
of
I used to be able to
services
go in and get the
and
my miss. Well, I used to always lose my card. I knew that I could always go into my bank and get a new card that day. Nope.
oh
Or a
yeah,
temp
no.
card. Can't even do that.
No, yeah. You definitely got to go on that app, apply for it, and they'll send it to you. You get it in a day, no problem. But still, it's crazy how much they've replaced. Community and social service. This was another one that kind of surprised me a little bit, but then I kind of understand
How?
from some standpoint where I know that the last time I had to help my uncle. This is a different uncle. Had to help him apply for some state aid as well as some services because he was elderly, newly elderly. So he had to apply for certain, services and things like that. All of that I had to go online and do, which I thought was so, just inhuman and so messed up because what if he had to do that himself and he's an older guy, he doesn't know anything
And
about
that's the
computers,
sad part because
but
you
all
don't know
that
how to do
stuff
that.
is
That's what we get with retirees
yeah, all
trying to
that stuff has
retire
been
and they got to
replaced
go
by
online.
computers. Yeah.
And even with that, I know people that use I know that, like I said, due to COVID happening and the ease of being able to upload pay stubs or information that they need for these communities programs or county programs that they have, they're not like super advanced sites. They're like really low key. So it's a lot of glitches. You could be trying to I remember my daughter signing up for one of the programs that like she was transferring because she moved out of Jersey. She was
Right.
transferring everything over to PA. And when you have a baby, they have the WIC, Women, Infant, and Children, where they help with make sure the mom is healthy during pregnancy, make sure that you can help with the high cost of formulas, or just checking on your health and the baby's health to make sure everything is good. But transferring over and using the systems, they say that they're people friendly and they're not.
Right.
And like you could be the most tech savvy person, but like some of these things are horribly put together. And it's just like it was easier just walking in, having an appointment and giving you paper.
Right.
Because you would upload it. It didn't you would upload, you spend the time, save, scan everything. I've helped her and I do this for not necessarily that job for a living, but I upload documentation. People send me stuff all the time. I have to scan it, send it to them, whatever. And me helping her or trying to get to or trying like she's smart too. She's in the era of all of this. And her uploading it and then they're saying it's not there, her uploading again for it's not there, and then going through the motion with them sending out stuff. They got the address wrong, so it's lost in translation somewhere. Then they got to send it out again, but then she had to verify her information and verify who she is all over again, like she ain't doing it. It's very frustrating. It's like can I get an appointment and walk in with here's my papers, because I've tried it 6 times and didn't do it, because you get these as much as say like we're living in a nation where people want to save money, so they do stuff that are not necessarily in the best interest of the people, and it makes it harder. And like when you have elderly people, new people that have lost jobs that are not computer tech savvy, you know how many times we had to walk through, and it's okay with them. Like, and then at the HR, we can't walk people through a retirement,
Right.
because where HR is biased. How,
Mm-hmm.
like, you can go back and say we forced you to retire, and it's like, well, how did you retire? I didn't know how to do it. Well, so and so helped me in HR. We can't do that. We have to go through a whole process of getting written consent, it being verified that you told us we could do it, for us to actually help you. And then it's this whole process we have to do to cover ourselves in future when somebody says you didn't want to retire. So it makes it harder, and it's frustrating for elderly people to say, I'm done. Don't want to come back to work. I'm sick. I just want to be out. I just want to not be here anymore. I just want to focus on myself. And it's like trying to help them. And I feel bad because, like I said, with my job, it's like you try to help them to the best ability, but sometimes you can't.
Right.
And if they don't have the support,
and that's the thing, is that I think is one thing that we do need to keep in mind as a community, as a society, is that we can't freeze people out from being able to make use of the services that are supposed to be available to them. We got to find ways to help them through that, and not be charging them for it. Because I know a lot of times, like back when we had some floods here and people needed help with filling out paperwork and forms and online services to be able to get their payments for the flood damage. There was companies that were like, oh yeah, we can help you do that, but then they're charging you $300 to help you with that, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's why I say, like, I have a love-hate relationship with AI, because while it benefits a lot of people, it doesn't benefit a lot of people. So, and then where there's pluses, there's also minuses. So it's very frustrating to watch someone that that you want to help, but you really can't.
Right.
Or you, like you said, had people taking advantage of them because they can't do. So it's, I would like to, have something so smart, so simplified that it can help people, but it's
and they're developing stuff like that. That's one of the bigger things that are going on now in AI development, is that they're trying to make natural language processing more of a thing, being able to have people not feel like they're talking to a computer, that they're more able to make mistakes in what they're asking for, but also still be as broad or as narrow as they want to be, and have the AI be able to make the proper responses, having systems be able to predict what you need based on certain information and catalysts that are in your in your records or whatever. So I think it's getting or it's going towards that. They're trying to add the human element to AI as much as possible. It's going to be a slow process. I mean, it won't be as slow as we think, but it's definitely going to be a process that we're going to have to live and work through. But it's like you said, but with every improvement, there's going to be some impact. There's going to be some repercussions. So we just got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, myself, like I said, I'm in IT already. I'm already, well versed in several different types of IT specialties. I'm currently in engineering as well as operations and administration. But I do a lot with both systems themselves, but software as well as working on doing a lot of development work now. They call it DevOps. So I'm learning a lot of that now, rather, in order to try to keep up with AI, keep up with automation, keep up with, creating automated processes myself, making things more automated for my customers. So that's something that I'm doing now to learn and to kind of expand my skill set, to kind of, add a little bit of security to my career. So I'm definitely trying to do those things in order to kind of disrupt myself versus waiting for the disruption to happen to me. And that's the thing, being ahead of the curve, being ahead of it, and instead of being reactionary, being able to predict, like, okay, I know how this is going to affect my job. I know how this is going to affect my company, or I know how this is going to affect my industry, and being able to get ahead of that. So, that's the most important thing. And I definitely hope that people are paying attention, because no matter where you are, as we saw in that chart, almost every industry is going to be affected, and most more than others, so it's definitely going to be something. And even if you think, well, I work a job where it's manual labor or it's more, direct, physical, that kind of thing, you got to remember there's also robotics and automation coming, that's going to replace a lot of the human bodies that are needed, especially when it comes to more, what they call like specialized, not even specialized, but like more tasks that need people to do in either greater numbers or that may have some kind of danger element to it. They're developing these robots that are to replace you, and if not replace you, at least supplement, so it's definitely something that we have to start keeping in mind as we move forward. And the sad part is there's going to be so many people left behind. I mean, I haven't looked at the latest projections and predictions, but I remember looking at one at one point, and it was talking about how the job market and the amount of employment needed has been rising for so many years. And of course during the pandemic it shot up in terms of how many jobs were available versus the number of people that were available to work them. But in terms of automation, AI, robotics, things of that nature affecting job markets, it was showing how there was going to be this eventual decline. And then eventually, once the technology catches up with the potential, we're going to see this deep drop in the need for certain jobs to be filled. And it's going to displace so many people. The jobless rate is going to be huge. The homeless rate is going to be terrifying.
Yeah, it's definitely a scary situation, but I just think that people should. I think at the as much as we want to hold on to the jobs that we have to be realistic about it, because AI is so ever advancing. You got to look outside the box. You got to be able to, it's funny because when people say there ain't nobody hiring, McDonald's is always hiring, Amazon always hiring, FedEx always hiring. So for you to say, I understand you may be over or underqualified. Like I always feel people always tell me about, hey, you got jobs at your job, blah, blah, blah. We do. Sometimes you got to start from the bottom and make it where you want. You can't automatically have the mindset that I understand that you were making a certain salary. And I say that not being in that situation. So I say it without actually living it. But we have to get in the mentality of like, but I guess my survival instincts will be like, I got to figure it out, because even to get to where I am now, I had to start at the bottom.
Right.
And unfortunately in life, sometimes you have to start back over. And if I'm gonna start back over anything, I'm gonna start back over at a job. Because I need money. I don't. The system that they have in place with assistance is you giving them your whole life story for them to give you breadcrumbs. I don't have time for that. I need a job. I don't have time because I uploaded the document 6 times. You ain't got it. You denied me, and now I'm sitting over here broke. No, if I go to work, I get paid. It's very simple. I can show up.
Right. Yep. Well, great show tonight. We're going to go ahead and get wrapped up here. Make sure you guys check us out. We always have great topics, always have great shows on here on the GFT radio show. But make sure you also check out our Join the Conversation group. We have even more topics over there, more great conversations over at facebook.com/group/GFT Join the Conversation. But throughout the week, we have great shows. Mondays, 10 p.m., we have the GFT radio show where you catch all of the hosts here doing our thing, discussing great topics and having great debates. How to Hustle podcast with Hank, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. There's no show this week, but there'll be new shows in the next couple of weeks, so make sure you be on the lookout for that. And then Sex with Sunny Live. Sunny just dropped a great pre-recorded show last week. It was on the Let's Be Friends. Why do we, what does it mean by Let's Be Friends? So make sure you guys go check out the replay.
And we got another one in the chamber.
Yep, we got one more. As soon as she gives me the information on it.
Oh no, I was told not tomorrow because I have 50 million things to do. Well, I might do it tomorrow.
Don't worry about it.
They just asked. I just got.
I said, don't worry, just get it to me.
Yeah, and I got another one. So August it's been a crazy month with my son and his childcare that he usually goes to, so I can do my shows on Friday. So we're gonna finish this month out with another well, actually no, I think this one we just did is gonna post for the month of August. I think the next one is gonna be that I'm trying to do will be early September. So by then, after school start, hopefully he'll be back in the program and being able to go so I can do the live shows. I know you guys missed it, but I know the pre-recorders are funny and lit. And, you could tell how inebriated or less inebriated we were during the shows. Right. We got to stop taking shots, that many shots.
Well, tell the folks where they can find you, Sunny.
Y'all know you can find me at IamSunny_D, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok. Also, I just uploaded a blog post on my blog, Unreservedly Me, talking about my health journey, trying to get to where I need to be. Got upcoming surgery. I got to call them to see when the date is. So I'm trying to do some shows before I be sitting down somewhere. But yeah, thank y'all.
All right. And this your boy, Willie Styles, in the building. Get at me everywhere at Willie Styles on IG and Twitter and on Threads. I'm Willie.Styles on Snapchat and TikTok. Visit me over at Visit me over at stylesradio.com, listening to all the hot tracks. I don't know what I've been listening to lately, just a lot of R&B, a lot of newer hip hop music, mainly because I've been doing a bunch of events and party planning. So just had a great party. Shout out to everybody that came through to my game night. Appreciate y'all, and definitely.
Are you copying my style?
Copying. I was the originator of the game night, girl.
Listen, I'm about to bring. I it's funny because I think once I get done all this health stuff, I can get back to what I want to do, because I definitely want to. I'm trying to put together. I don't know how I want to do it, but I've got to tag y'all in, because I want to do a Wildin' Out game night.
Okay.
But I was thinking about like getting a suite, having a couple friends come over and just not here, be away,
right,
and be able to go have some fun, do a Wildin' Out style. Because every time we come to my house, we do the pick up and kill it and in the classroom, and we be lit, and then we do our little we be in the studio, so it'd be a lot of stuff happening.
Oh, okay, for sure. I'll look out for that then. You know me, I'm always willing to come down to Trenton.
Yeah,
and come hang
and
out.
That way, if I do it in a suite, it'll be like I'm trying to get like either a suite, like where it's like double rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you won't have to go. You right there, and we can get lit in the place, and then
I don't know how far Fairview is, but I got a condo in Fairview, so we can do that there.
What's Fairview?
Huh?
What's that?
Fairview, New Jersey.
Oh, I don't know what. I gotta see what part. What is it? North, south? Is it near New York?
I have no idea. All I know is it's on the coast.
I'm sick to death of you. All right, we'll figure it out.
All right, for sure. All right, everybody. Until next time, make sure you go to our website, check out all of our videos, check out all of our replays, and until then, we are out.
Yo, it's your boy Dame here.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D.
Yo, it's your boy Smooth from the GFT Radio Network.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building.
Join us Mondays at 10 p.m. live on Twitch, YouTube, and our Facebook. And if you miss us, don't worry. You can catch it on our website, gftradioshow.com. And if you feel like talking to us every day, join our Facebook group.
At Join the Conversation, the group where you can discuss all kinds of topics.
Catch me also, Fans Respected, Dope Sports Show. Holla at your boy.
You can cop some merchandise over at our store, teespring.com/stores/GFT Radio. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, masks, and even more.
Next time on GFT Radio, what are we talking about? Join the conversation to find out.
Make sure you get at us on GFTRadioshow.com for all of our audio,